everybody, and welcome back to Mom's Vlog 80. Today I'm going to take some time and let you guys get to know who I am, what I'm all about, and why I decided to vlog on YouTube. My name is Melody, and I was born and raised here in Northern California, and we have all 4 seasons here in our town where I live. So we get spring, summer, winter, and fall, and we definitely get snow. I was born in the 80s. I am 34 as of 2014. I am an 80s and 90s gal, so you'll find my fashion old fashion sometimes. I like to wear 80s and 90s styles sometimes. It just brings back the past of my joyful life and good old days when I was a child. I was a very happy and joyful child. I was raised with some awesome parents who were musically talented, and they raised me in church. That's where I get my musical background from. My dad and I, when I was younger as a little girl, would sing little songs while he played the guitar, and those were some joyful memories that I had when I was a little child. As I got older, my elementary years, I started playing the violin. My mom got me into Suzuki music with the violin, and I played that for several years. And then by the time I was in 7th, 8th grade, I was homeschooled, but I was also able to be with the band, so I started clarinet. And then in high school, all 4 years of my high school, I was in band playing the clarinet. On top of it, in high school, I also sang in groups. I also sang this in a group called Ladies First, also school choir. And Ladies First, we went to Reno a couple of times for competition, and we won 2nd place on one of the competitions in the Ladies First group, which was really exciting, and in Reno. So that was a fond memory of me. When I was in 6th grade, I would say about 12 years old, I had started ice skating, and I was an ice skater all the way up until I was about 18 years old, 18, 19 years old. I was doing classes, and I was in the middle of doing double jumps and spins, and like the sit spins and the back bend spins, which was really fun. I got a Africa-shaped sized bruise on my right hip. It was the shape of Africa, and it was huge. It was a big bruise. I remember that. And I always landed on my right hip all the time. So from being very active, I used to run every day, 4 miles a day, 2 in the morning before school, and I did my hair every day differently. I was really into doing my hair differently every day. Everybody always complimented, so it became my thing on my hair by the time I was a junior and senior in high school. In high school, I used to wear my hair just like this, and because I'm doing something that brings back the past, I decided to do my hair like this again, and this style is still in style, at least where I live. I do miss ice skating. I stopped ice skating once I met my boyfriend at the time. I met Ronnie, and he met me up at the ice skating rink, and we had sat down and started talking to each other. I heard from a friend that he was attracted to me and liked to watch me ice skate, so I was bold enough and I introduced myself to him, and you can go back on one of my very first videos on that story on how we met. We met back in winter of 96. In 1997, on my birthday, we went out on my first date. I was 17 years old, and we got to really know each other the past 3 months before we went out on our first date. We talked on the phone until like 3 o'clock in the morning every night, and he was very sweet, he was very old-fashioned, and he was very gentle. I really fell in love with him. You know, the first 3 months I got to know him, and then on our first date it just went downhill from there. I'm just kidding. Started dating from then on, and we dated for 2.5 years. And he proposed to me 2.5 years later. I was 19. I already graduated out of high school, and he was 21. I know a lot of you think that's young, but we have been married 15 years this year, this last October, 15 years. We've been through a lot together, and I just feel like it would be a waste of time if we just gave up on our marriage. So we work through our problems, and we talk to each other, and we're honest with each other, and we communicate with each other. He tells me how he feels, I tell him how he feels, we're upset at each other, and then a couple days later, we are making. That's what marriage is. Marriage isn't easy peasy. You work at it, and you get to know each other, because after you're married, everything's different. Your personalities are different, and as you grow, everything is different. You really get to know each other after you're married. So I got married in the in October of 1999, and like I said, we've been married 15 years, and we waited 5 years before we had a child. We did everything tradition and the old ways. My husband was very traditional. That's the way he was raised. We wanted to buy a house and pay off our cars first. So in the process of 5 years, we finally were able to purchase a house, and we were debt free from cars. We just had to pay insurance on cars. So we owned our cars. So about a year being in the house, I finally turned around and I said, hey, what are we waiting for? Let's have kids. So we had a beautiful baby boy back in 2005. His name was Cayden, and for the first 3 years of his life, peace to our family, we loved him so much. By the time he turned about 3 years old, he started having autistic signs, so we took him to a specialist, and come to find out he was diagnosed with autism, which it wasn't like Asperger's, and it wasn't like the mental retardation, that's the political term for it, of autism. He was like right in between. He's very social, he loves his hugs and kisses, and he is a super joy to our family. He is happy all the time, and yes, he has his fits, but what autistic kid or what normal kid doesn't? Right before he was diagnosed in 2007, Cayden was about 2 years old. We had another baby boy, and they were 19 months apart. Cayden was 10 months. I got pregnant. So in 2007, we had another baby boy. His name was Elijah, and I can go on explaining how beautiful my children are, but we're all biased. We all think our children are beautiful. So I had 2 beautiful baby boys. I was set. I was a happy mama, and I was glad that they were able to be close to each other and play with each other and protect each other as they get older. Cayden was 6 years old, and my son Elijah was 3. And I'm going to try to go through this as fast as possible because I feel like I'm being long-winded already. Elijah was 3 years old, and I went to church one day, and I came back home 3 hours later, and my boys were sick. Ronnie, Cayden, and Elijah were all sick, so they stayed behind at home while I went to church. They all had colds, and I came back home 3 hours later, and Elijah had this massive like lymph node just like protruding out of his neck. It was like in the back of his neck. I like freaked out. What the heck is this? So for a whole month in October, we went back and forth between the doctors giving my son antibiotics, thinking it was just a swollen lymph node. And since the swollen lymph node wasn't going down, in fact was getting bigger, there was a couple more lymph nodes showing up in his neck. So they referred us to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. The ear, nose, and throat doctor thought it may have been cat scratch fever because there was a scratch on his arm on the same side as his neck, and swollen lymph nodes happen when you have cat scratch fever. He ruled out that possibility because we ended up having a biopsy done. They took out one of his swollen lymph nodes out of his neck. The radiologists there where we live here locally couldn't find anything because they weren't prepared to, they don't have the technology to check for cancer. So I had this mommy gut feeling, and mommies, you better go with your gut feeling. So I went with my gut feeling, and I said, can you send it down to one of the children's hospitals in the Bay Area? So they did, to Lucille Packard. That was my reference, to Lucille Packard Children's Hospital in Palo Alto, California. And a week later, we got a call and said, you need to come down right now. We need to see you. And I was scared to death. We ended up going into the cancer center, and November 5th of 2010, my youngest Elijah was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma cancer. We had done biopsies, MRIs, CT scans, bone marrow biopsies. We also did blood tests, urine tests, all sorts of tests that you do to check for cancer, and come find out that he was covered from head to toe, 80% covered in his bone marrow, 90% covered in his bone marrow from head to toe of cancer. And then he had a tumor in the top of his skull. So long story short, I know this is already getting long enough. So long story short, in the past 4 years, we have been in treatment with chemotherapy, radiation, stem cell transplants, trial medications to try to get rid of his cancer. Neuroblastoma is an extremely intense cancer, and it becomes immune to treatment after a while. We always had to do different treatments all the time. So in the past 4 years, it's been really hard on my faith and my emotions, and Daddy had to stay behind to take care of Cayden because Cayden's autistic. So Daddy had to lose a lot of hours of work, but once Cayden was in school, it was easier. So Daddy had to become mommy while I had to be at the hospital with Elijah. So it felt like we were a split family, but we weren't a split family. In the process of all this, I became very depressed. I became very sad, especially when Elijah had no evidence of disease and he relapsed twice. The second time he relapsed, it was really, really hard for me to cope with, because the more that they relapse sooner, that the more that the doctors are going to give him a less chance to live. And so it was very hard on me, and they were giving him 0 to 5% chance of surviving through the second relapse. Those were the numbers that they were trying to give us. So we did a couple of trials which were failures, and so finally we went into the MIBG therapy. You can find more of this MIBG therapy on Elijah's YouTube channel. I do not vlog on that channel anymore because everything's on this channel now, but you can go over to Elijah's neuroblastoma. I'll leave the links down below so you guys can go over and you guys can see our whole story when we were in the MIBG hospital. I also have some old videos on this vlog when we were in the hospital for this treatment. I had high hopes for this treatment. We did 2 rounds of radiation injected into Elijah's blood system. After we were done, 6 weeks later, we found out that he was no evidence of disease again. He beat the odds a 3rd time. So 3rd time's a charm, we believe, and we're really hoping that he stays cancer-free. Talking to other neuroblastoma moms, I'm part of a Facebook group for neuroblastoma, and talking to several other moms, they had said that their children had the same treatments. I don't know why this wasn't frontline treatments, but it's starting to become frontline treatment now. That their kids are graduating high school and getting married. So it was I had very high hopes in this treatment, and I pray that he never relapses again. So in the meantime, the last 4 years, I started gaining weight. I started feeling unhealthy. I started feeling sick myself. From having the best life I've had to into this shock of what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong as a child or as a young adult? Did I do something to cause this? And really, we had to come to the point and say this is not our faults. Unfortunately, bad things happen to good people, and that was our situation. And I didn't think it was fair until this day. I don't think it's fair. Anybody that gets cancer, it's not fair. Cancer sucks. It really sucks. Whether it's breast cancer, kidney cancer, ovarian cancer, and childhood cancer, all cancers suck. And when you see your child suffering through it and they're on their deathbed 100 times over, it is really, really hard on your mental state. So up to our present time, because he is no evidence of disease, we still have to do scans every 3 months. His next scans are in January, and we are taking advantage of this time. I decided to start vlogging because you just don't know how much time you have left with your children. Listen, parents, don't take advantage of your time with your children. Spend every moment you can with them, because you don't know how long you have with them. I hope for the rest of their lives. I hope, we can watch Elijah walk down the aisles and get married and graduate high school. Those things that we all take advantage of. I'm gonna cry like a baby when I see my son getting married, if he chooses to get married. So parents, take advantage of life, but don't take for granted. And that's been my theme since I started YouTube. YouTube is an outlet for me as a mom. I can watch my kids grow and keep those memories on YouTube. It's important for me. So YouTube has become an outlet for me, and to be able to communicate with other people, to be able to portray hope, because we have hope and we enjoy our lives as much as we can. We take advantage of our situations. I am super happy that Elijah is in school right now. So, I was not planning on crying in this video, guys. So that's a little bit about me as a mom and who I was as growing up as a child. I love to sing. I love to dance. I love to ice skate. I haven't done it in over, you know, gosh, 15 years. I haven't ice skated. But I still love it. I love to draw. I'm an artist. I do cartoon characters. And I love Christmas. That is my ultimate favorite holiday. We are like the Griswolds around our house. And so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm sorry if I made you guys cry. Life is precious. Don't take advantage of it. You guys are precious to me. And I thank every one of my subscribers who stick along with our videos. I can be annoying and I can be overwhelming to some people at some time, and they think I'm being pushy or like, I don't know. That's just because I'm a very friendly person, and then I like to make friends. So try not to get annoyed with me. It's just who I am. I'm a very friendly person, and if I seem overwhelming to you, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to make you feel like I'm a stalker or a creeper, because I really am not. But anyway, I'm rambling on more than I should have. This video is way too long. I hope you guys stuck through it to the end. Thank you to all the new subscribers. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And now I'm all just emotional. I can't stop crying, guys. Thanks. It's all your fault. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please press the subscribe button if you haven't by pressing that little red button down below. And follow our journey. You know, follow how Elijah's going to be doing, you know, and hopefully he'll never have to deal with this again. We don't want to deal with this again. It's very disheartening when they relapse. But I know in the future that if we've beaten it before, that Elijah can beat it again. He is my superhero. He is my little Superman. Find his page down in the links down below. He has a Facebook page. Follow his journey on Facebook, because we keep updates on Facebook as well. I also have an Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook page, and Tumblr, and all the other social media you can find. I don't have a Vine, I'm sorry. But other than that, I hope you guys liked today's video, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.